Hello, hello. Hi, Hillary. How you feeling? Hi, Caitlin. Stacy. Hi, you guys. Hi, Patty. Well, Hillary, I believe there's a human growing in there. Caitlin. Hi, Trina. Hi, so excited to be here. Me too. Oh my gosh, Kimberly! I mean, we're gonna do this and then we're gonna do our call afterwards still, right? Hi, Debbie. Okay, so because I want to, oh, Kim, yes, I have dinner ready to go. Perfect. Admit. Hi, Lauren. Okay, guys, so as people are joining, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of give you a little bit of an idea of what to expect and what you might need. Hi, Lana. So today's session is gonna be super restorative. That doesn't always mean like comfortable or easy necessarily. It's restorative in the sense that we're not trying to like build body heat or build muscle or strength or balance or whatever. We are gonna hold poses for anywhere from like 3 to 5 minutes. And the intention there is that you actually give your body a chance to soften and open in the pose. That can be super uncomfortable because that means that you're just sitting there for 3 to 5 minutes. For today, I'm not going to be playing any music on my end. That was just too much for me to try to manage and put together for this. But if you want to go ahead and put some music on somewhere, I totally encourage that. That's totally fine. And if you, because we're holding poses for a little bit longer, that also means that we aren't building that body heat and you might get cold. Like I tend to get really cold, so I'm wearing like socks and a hoodie and I have some props, including blankets like as a prop, but it might be nice to have that for yourself or at least have it handy if you tend to get a little bit cold. So in terms of the props that you might need or want, you'll want to have something a little bit more solid or stable. I have a yoga block. It's a cork yoga block, but you can use the foam ones. Those are totally fine. If you don't have a yoga block, you could try using a foam roller. The height of a foam roller is actually pretty great for what we're gonna be using it for today. If you have a solid or thick book, or even just taking like a more dense pillow or dense blanket and being able or prepared to fold it up a few times to support you. So we want one prop that is a little bit more firm, and then you may want to have an extra blanket or like a thick towel nearby as an added cushion or as an added little bit of extra support. There will be times that you might put it underneath your knees, you may put it under your head, you may cover yourself with it. I'm gonna give you some different opportunities to use it. So again, just to review, one prop that is a little bit more firm and stable, and then something else that might be a little bit more soft, like a blanket or a towel. I have a yoga mat, I'm using a yoga mat, but you don't need one. You can just do this on the floor. Let me just check in with my Google Meet people and make sure that they are okay, because my screen looks like it's frozen over here. Hey, Google Meet, let me see. Destin, somehow I can see your name here. Any chance you could unmute yourself and just give me a little hello or a thumbs up if everything's okay?
Yeah, everything looks good.
Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you. For those of you guys watching over on Facebook, I have the Google Meet streaming as well, and there's a little bell that happens anytime someone enters the room, so I will occasionally or throughout the sequence admit these people as they enter. My hope is that, oh, I'm sorry, Laura, you couldn't get Google Meet on your iPad. That's a bummer. That's really weird. If you are in need of captions, this will be posted later to the Facebook group as a YouTube link where the captions will be added as an option afterwards. Okay, so my plan is to get through this in about 45 minutes or by 5:15, and then I'll leave 10 to 15 minutes afterwards for any questions, Q&A. Yeah. All right, Facebook, can someone give me a thumbs up if you guys are good, if the sound and everything is okay? Maybe? Uh-oh. Not getting anything over there. Oh, great, awesome, thanks, Diane. Okay. Hi. So, this week, the focus has been on paying attention, right? We talked about the definition of mindfulness, or the definition that we're using throughout this focus group as paying attention on purpose in a particular way without judgment. And so this week, we're really trying to zero in on the paying attention part of that. And I've seen lots of comments coming up in the Facebook group around the different things that you have been noticing as you pay attention. Really sweet moments with yourself, with your loved ones, in nature, and then also some really uncomfortable moments where it's clear that when you pay attention, there is like stress, anxiety, worry, fear, guilt, resentment. So I want to, and Jeb addressed this in a video earlier today, but I've been thinking a lot about that, and I'm the type of person that wants to come in and just fix everything for everyone, and that's not possible, and it's also not the point for you or for myself. And it reminded me of a passage from one of my favorite books. This book is called When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron, and you can see like the cover's fallen off. It is just like worn to bits because I've read this book more times than I can count, or many pieces of or parts of it. But one passage really stood out to me after seeing some of your posts this week, and I wanted to start just by reading this and hopefully allowing you to take it with you into this yin or restorative maintenance sequence. Okay, so again, this is from When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron. The passage is called, "This Very Moment is the Perfect Teacher." In practicing meditation, we're not trying to live up to some kind of ideal. Quite the opposite. We're just being with our experience, whatever it is. If our experience is that sometimes we have some kind of perspective and sometimes we have none, then that's our experience. If sometimes we can approach what scares us and sometimes we absolutely cannot, then that's our experience. This very moment is the perfect teacher, and it's always with us, is really a most profound instruction. Just seeing what's going on, that's the teaching right there. We can be with what's happening and not dissociate. Awakeness is found in our pleasure and in our pain, our confusion and our wisdom, available in each moment of our weird, unfathomable, ordinary, everyday lives. Awakeness is found in our pleasure and our pain, our confusion and our wisdom, available in each moment of our weird, unfathomable, ordinary, everyday lives. So I hope that you hold some of that with you as we dive into this practice that might be weird and unfathomable and ordinary. Let's do it. Okay, so you're going to start lying down on your back, please. Now, if you want to put your head on a blanket or on a pillow, that's totally fine. But if you can lie with your spine totally neutral, then that would be a good place to start. And you're gonna relax your legs out so that they're long. Take your arms down beside you. Try sliding each one of your shoulder blades underneath you down your back so that your chest is open. And then find the adjustment of your chin, right, left, up, or down, so that the back of your neck is long. Relax your jaw. Relax your face. Relax the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. Without trying to necessarily manipulate it or change it just yet, start to bring some awareness to the way that you're breathing. Can you acknowledge or greet your breath like you would greet an old friend? Start to deepen your breath and encourage the breath to move a little bit lower down in your belly, in the sides of your body, maybe even down into the front of your hips. And you're going to slowly start to bring the soles of your feet together and allow your knees to stay splayed out wide. Now, if this already feels like it is a lot of pressure or pulling or pain in your hips, in your back, or in your knees, you have the option to slide one of your blocks or one of your towels underneath each one of your thighs to give you a little bit of extra support. And you can play or adjust how close your feet are to you or how far away. There's really no right or wrong. But find a position that you can stay in, that you can hold. And we're going to be here for just a few minutes. And notice where your attention has gone. If already you're anticipating when we'll come out of the pose or what might be next. Or maybe you're judging how tight your hips are or how maybe this pose doesn't really feel like it's doing anything at all. All of those things are okay. Right? The confusion and the wisdom. This might be completely ordinary or not. And if you notice that your thoughts start to kind of spiral further and further away, out into the future or back into the past, you can continue to anchor your attention back with your breathing. Now, if you are particularly more open in your hips and this feels like it's not quite enough, you can try placing the block or your blanket on top of your thighs. So it gives it just a little bit of extra weight. And stay with the shape. And notice any tendencies to resist, to push away, or to pull into. And try to just let it be for the last 30, 45 seconds or so. So we're focusing on the hips and the lower body today. And really, sometimes the pelvis and the hips are seen as like a sacred part of the body. Because this is where life flows from. Literally. So it can be a powerful part of the body, but also a place that we really try to protect by creating a lot of extra tension. Hi, Molly. For those of you guys that are just joining us, we are in a reclined cobbler's pose. Feet together, knees wide. And take another 3 slow, deep breaths. No real rush at all. You're going to use your hands to encourage your knees, your inner thighs back towards each other. And then take your feet a little bit wider. Allow the knees to rest in together on each other. Allow your hips and your pelvis and your lower back to neutralize. Sometimes after a deeper stretch or a longer hold, there can be an achiness, and that's okay. And see if you can just hold some space for it, observe it without needing to create a story around it. Go ahead and start to bring your feet together and shift yourself off to one side so that you can roll around to your side and make your way up to a seated position. I'm going to swing your right leg around and so that the right leg is straight, and bring the left foot just inside the right thigh. Now for some of you, this might already feel like it's a really big stretch in the hamstring or behind the knee or even into the calf or the lower back. So you have the option of kind of managing that stretch or how deep the stretch is by sliding a towel or a blanket or the block underneath the back of your knee. So it creates a little bit more of a bend there and softens the intensity. Otherwise, just relax the leg. You don't have to flex your foot. You're gonna rotate your chest towards your right leg. Start to fold yourself forward and down, and you may stop after just a couple of inches. If you have something handy nearby to rest your elbows on, great. If you can go a bit lower, and maybe you have something that you could rest your forehead or your forearms on, awesome. We're gonna be here on this side for about 3 minutes. So you don't need to find the deepest variation of this right now. See if you can maybe go to about 70% and give your body some room to go deeper with each minute. Notice if, as that sensation, the stretch comes up in the back of your right leg or in the left side of your lower back, if you're also holding tension in your jaw or in your shoulders, or maybe with the grip of your hands, can you let everything go? All of the connective tissue in our body is connected. It's like saran wrap from your toes, up around your legs, around every organ, muscle, joint, from all the way up to the top of your head. So if you're gripping in your toes, you're probably also gripping in your hips. Or if you can relax your jaw, you may be able to help relax your inner thighs. You have a little bit under a minute left on this side. And try to slow your exhales down so that each one is just a little longer than the one before. In no real rush at all, you're going to start to curl yourself up. And bring your hands back behind you. Bend both of your knees and just allow your shins to gently sway side to side. Just a few times. And when you're ready, we're gonna set up for that same stretch on the second side. So left leg goes long, and it's totally normal for these sides to feel different. So on this side, you may need a different setup. Maybe you wanna throw the blanket underneath the back of that knee. You can take your foot a little bit wider or closer in. Turn your chest more in the direction of the leg that is extended, and then start to slowly fold yourself forward and down. And get really curious about the sensations in your body. The ones that might be a little bit more enjoyable and the ones that are not so much. And try to relax the shoulders down away from your ears. And I think it helps to let the lips part just slightly to encourage the jaw to relax. And just like you were able to greet your breath at the beginning, like a friend that you maybe haven't seen in a while, as the thoughts, emotions come up, you can greet them. You can say, "Oh, hi, breath. How are you?" Or, "Oh, hi, to-do list. I see you. I'll get back to you later." "Oh, hi, impatience. I feel you. I'll come back soon." It can be helpful to literally talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend or a small child. Being kind and gentle. And allowing them to go through the things that they're going through while guiding them back to some center or balance. And take a few more really long, slow exhales. Allowing the back of your left leg or the right side of your lower back to open up. rush at all. You're gonna start to curl yourself back up. And like before, bring your hands behind you, a little bend in both knees, and allow the shins to sway side to side. Okay. And you're gonna bring your right shin or your right leg around towards the front. So we're setting up for pigeon or deer, or some variation of that. So the target area of this pose or this stretch is going to be the outer edge of the right hip or the glute. You may also feel it in the lower back, that's totally okay. And you might feel it in the inner thigh, that's okay as well. But we wanna make sure that the majority or the target area sensation is in the outer edge of the right hip. So because we're holding this pose for longer, I like this variation of deer, where both legs are bent. And then it'll be a little bit different for each person. You'll kind of sway or scan your torso around to one side or the other. Maybe you drop down to your elbows or you rest your head on a block or the floor. But that doesn't always feel good. It doesn't always seem like it's effective for everyone. So some other options would be pigeon, like the more traditional variation that you might see where the back leg is straight. Now, if you're coming into pigeon, for today at least, I want you to make sure that the right thigh is propped up on something. So that might mean taking a blanket underneath your hip. Because we're holding this pose for long, the right knee is in a vulnerable position and I don't want your body weight to pull or create too much strain there. And then finally, if neither one of those seems to work for you, you can take a seated variation of a figure four, either sitting on the ground or sitting on a chair, where you would take your right ankle across to your left thigh, keep the foot flexed, and then draw your left leg in closer, or if you're in a chair, you can lean towards the right shin. So take a moment to settle in, to find the variation that feels like it's gonna work for you today. Awesome, Andrea, I'm so stiff in my hip. I'm not flexible at all. I love these sessions. Awesome. And yeah, again, we're here for a few minutes. This one is probably one of the longer holds that we'll do. So don't go to 100%. Don't peacock your yoga or your maintenance, please. See if you can pace yourself and give yourself some space to explore the pose, to open up into it. Now, if you feel pain, that pinching, pulling, sharpness, numbness, that's an indication that you've gone too far and you need to come out of it, take a break, reset. And pigeon or deer is a pose that is one where we tend to fight a lot, resist the opening, or the sensation can be really strong, and so we'll clench our jaw, or if your hands are clasped, you might notice that you're gripping in your palms. It helps to just turn the palms up, almost like you're just surrendering over any of that gripping. And again, allow the lips to part. Trina, pigeon is my fave. That's awesome. If your forehead is resting on a block or on the ground, you can allow your forehead to gently roll side to side, like you're giving your brow a massage. someone in the Main Street Parking Facebook group today was asking about being overcome with emotion when they stretch their hips. And I'm glad that came up today, even though it was in the main group. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but that's not uncommon. So anytime we come up against a stress or stressful situation, anytime we have a stress response in the body, whether it's an emotional or physical, maybe it's a very big trauma or lots of little small ones, the body has a physical reaction, right? Let's say you're in traffic and someone stops right in front of you and you have to like brake really quickly. You'll feel your entire body tense up, most likely. Maybe your stomach is clenching, or your shoulders, or you're gripping the steering wheel. Maybe even just thinking about that or hearing me say it right now is causing a similar reaction. Well, we tend to do a lot of that gripping with the hips and all of the muscles around the hips and the pelvis. And sometimes it can feel like those emotions, those stories, those experiences are stored with the tension in the body. And as you open it, it might feel like almost like you are experiencing parts of that again. And if you find yourself right now, or in any of the hip openers, noticing that, remember that right now isn't about fixing or changing or understanding. It's just seeing. Like Pema said, it's just seeing what's going on. That's the teaching right there. Laura, I think all of that stress lives in my shoulders and neck. Yeah, another super common place. And those places are connected as well. Okay, you have a little under a minute left. Slow the exhales down. Slowly, slowly, like you're moving through mud or in slow motion, I want you to peel yourself up and then shift your weight around to find the setup for the second side. So the left leg is going to go forward and the right leg back. And this might need like a big different or a different setup. The blanket underneath the thigh, the adjustment to a pigeon, or you may need to come into a seat or a chair. Hillary, it's hard to scooch the baby out of the way. Yeah, so Hillary, it might be better for you, especially as the baby and the belly grow, to take this seated version. So you can prop your hands back behind you, or even lean back onto something and then hold this position right here. Or use a chair, like actually sit on a chair. You guys are doing great. Second side of pigeon or deer pose. And it's really easy or tempting to want to right away create a bunch of stories around why one side might be really different from the other. And see if instead you can just let them be different. And notice how they're different. And stay with it. You might feel yourself getting kind of fidgety or restless. That's okay too. Again, you can go back to that, the voice or the holding space for yourself like you would a friend or a small child. Like, hey, I see you. I know you're getting restless. We're almost there. You're almost there. Lisa, super helpful. I'm 26 weeks and the bump is definitely changing what's comfortable. Yeah, that's like a daily reprieve. Every day, every week is different for sure. And stay with it for just a little longer and try to encourage your breath to move from your belly. Your inhales to fill and expand the belly, and the exhales to start from the bottom of your belly and move all the way up. Those long, slow exhales are known to be able to tone the vagus nerve, which is like critical for moderating our nervous system, our parasympathetic nervous system, and putting the body into a rest and digest mode. No real rush, but you're gonna start to slowly make your way back up. And you're gonna eventually make your way to lie on your back, but I want you to bring your block or whatever the more stable prop is that you're using with you. And then if you have like the blanket or the pillow or towel or something, you can go ahead and put that down by your feet. And we might end up needing that or using that later. So you're gonna come to lie on your back with your knees bent. And just when you get to the floor, take a second to just land. It might even help to actually like look up at the ceiling above you and recognize this change. And let your body become kind of heavy and melt into the ground a bit. And when you're ready, you're gonna walk your heels in a little bit closer to your hips and take the block, lift your hips up and slide the block just underneath your sacrum. So it's a little bit lower down than you might think. I'm actually going to show you from the seat where it is. So it's more here than here, like down here rather than up here. So this block should feel, or if it's a foam roller or even a water bottle, whatever it is, and it could also be a towel, but it should feel like it's resting right underneath that big triangular bone at the base of your spine. And your pelvis is tilting down rather than arching the lower back up and letting the pelvis tilt up. And so see if you can find the adjustments to make that work. And there's a few different heights to the block. Find the one that feels like it's manageable for you. And the sensation that you might be looking for or feeling is like a release in your lower back, a stretch or an opening through the front of your hips. You could keep your knees bent. You could try feet together and knees wide, kind of like what we started with. Or you can extend your legs out, both of them or one at a time. Now just hang out here and try to really give yourself over to gravity. Like let the body become heavy. Let the legs pull your body in one direction and your torso pull the body in the other direction. You can do whatever you want with your hands or your arms. So you're welcome to take your arms out wide, overhead. Maybe you rest your palms on your belly or your hips. And sometimes it's nice to rest one hand over your heart. Let's see if you can, pay attention to where your hands are, to how they feel. Maybe there's some warmth from your hands. Can you feel like some love from yourself to your body through your hands? What do you feel? Slowly, if your legs are straight or if your knees are wide, walk your feet back to center. Lift your hips up just enough to remove the block, and then slowly, one vertebra at a time, lay your spine down. Then take the feet just a little bit wider again. Allow those knees to rest on each other and hold here. Allow the spine to neutralize here at center for just a few more breaths. When you're ready, you're going to extend your legs out. It might feel nice to rest your ankles on your blanket or to pull the blanket up so that it's resting behind your knees, or to just cover yourself up with the blanket. And settle into a position that you can hold and be still in. Adjust the shoulder blades again, adjust your head again, so your spine is neutral. And try to allow your body to go through a rebound, if it needs to, of all of these poses, of all of these holds. And if you were really working on controlling your breathing, now try to allow your breath to go back to normal, or just try to resist the urge to force it or manipulate it quite as much. Remember, we're just being with our experience, whatever it is. Sometimes we can approach what scares us. Sometimes we absolutely can't. And that is our experience. If you're comfortable here like this, I encourage you to stay. To stay as long as you possibly can. However, when you're ready, if you're ready, you can slowly bend your knees. Roll yourself off to one side and make your way up to a seat. Be gentle with yourself. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you guys so much for your patience, your courage. best day ever. I'm going to stick around for a few minutes, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Thanks, Diane. Thanks, Lauren. Oh, Mylin, I'm so glad you made it. Thanks, Lauren, Lisa. My people over here on Google Meet. Hi, you guys. Thank you. That last pose was a real lower back opener. Feeling deeply relaxed. Wonderful. Katie. Oh, good. Oh, Leslie, what a sweet way to connect. Hi, Molly. Awesome. When I was pregnant, my last few months, my baby's head, oh shoot, was in right ligaments and it was hard to walk. And that's my problem area, I would say. Yeah. Andrea, check out the Shinbox Flow. And actually, if you go on to the Street Parking Members Only website, on the SP Mamas page, there is a sub-page called Pro Tips. And there's a video from Dr. Erica Boland specifically on round ligament pain. And she gives some exercises for managing round ligament pain if that continues to be a problem area for you. Trina, glad you made it. Oh, to Melanie. Yeah, Shinbox Flow is so good. Janie, was there another pose after left leg deer? No, we did deer right, deer left, and then, then we came back and we did the lower back release with the hips propped up on the block. You woke up with you on your back with a block under you. Yes, that's where we ended. Or that was the last pose, so you didn't miss anything. That's awesome. I feel like it's a huge compliment if someone falls asleep in a yin class. It was good for my mind too. It was nice to let a lot of weight go. I'm happy for Google Meet so I can learn a little. Oh gosh, Molly, why can't I see the rest of this comment? Oh, so I can learn a little more. Oh, good. Yeah, I think it's working pretty well. Jackie, perfect for me because I'm sitting for 12 to 15 hours a day. Yes. Kimberly, my hips are so tight and I love yin practice. Is there any poses you would recommend to do to keep daily mobility? Oh gosh, daily mobility there. Yeah, Kimberly, honestly, even like the chair sequence that's on the members only site is a great one because it's like you could do it anywhere. Like most of us are sitting in a chair at some point throughout the day, and it's gentle, but like you can make it a little deeper if you need to or less. But you don't need to it doesn't need to be like really intense long holds every single day. So I would see if you can incorporate the chair sequence a little bit more often. And then you say your hips are really tight, but as you can see, there are like a lot of different parts to the hips, a lot of really big, powerful muscles that attach to the hips. So if you maybe send me a message and let me know a little bit more, or post in the group, like which part, is it your hip flexors? Do you feel it in your glutes? Was there one of those that felt like especially challenging? If you give me that, then I can give you maybe another suggestion for something to target that particular part of your hips. Okay, you guys, I think that's about it. Feel free to send a message, to comment on the thread or whatever if you have questions, or if anything came up that you wanted to share with the group. Jeb and I have some fun stuff coming up for you, so stay tuned. Love you guys. Bye.